welcome to a brand new episode of Wrestling with Siblings. I'm your host, Sally, and this is my co-host, Armando.
Hi guys, I'm Armando, and welcome to Wrestling with Siblings.
Alright, let's get started with the NXT review for this week. Isiah Swarf Scott versus El Hijo del Fantasma.
For the interim Cruiserweight Championship, from the get-go, this has all the potential to be a good match, and sure enough, it was. This match was pretty much even all around. I gotta say, El Hijo del Fantasma, he pretty much was focused a little too much on the title outside. He kept on looking at it, kept on pointing at it, and I think that might have cost him at the end of the day.
Yeah, I feel like he went in a little too confident, but at the same time, he was way too focused on the championship that was sitting outside of the ring in order for him to focus into the match, and Swerve completely took advantage of that. But as Armando said, it was pretty evened out from the very beginning up until the very end. I just feel like Swerve Scott was able to outsmart El Hijo del Fantasma to get the win.
And not only that, but El Hijo del Fantasma came in with the advantage. He had a little bit of the strength, not that much into it, but that was a little bit of the advantage where he walked into it. And Isiah Swerve looked phenomenal. He pretty much had counters to everything that El Hijo del Fantasma had to offer.
100% agree with you on that one. All right, let's move on to Candace Lorraine with Johnny Gargano versus KC. All right, brand new Candace. She is focused. She is determined. She changed her entire look. This is a lot more dangerous Candace LeRae.
Yeah, she's obviously, like you said, she's more confident. She is more dangerous, and I like this side of her because she is more aggressive. She shows more of her character, what she is, how aggressive she is, and she proved it today in the match.
Yes, and I believe Johnny Gargano had a lot to do with that. I think he's really mentoring her and really saying, well, you know what, if you want to get to where you want to be, this is what you have to do. And I think that transformation had a lot to do with Gargano as well.
And not only that, but she was also showing a little bit of her power that she has to offer.
Yes, she didn't give Casey much of an opportunity throughout this entire match. You can tell Casey was kind of trying to go against Candace LeRae, and she was unable to do that because Candace LeRae had a great offense. She controlled the entire match, kept it going at her own pace, and that's what got her the win.
Yeah, and Candace LeRae, if she continues to keep this attitude, this focus, she has this potential of being an NXT Women's Champion, but she has to keep focused and on track the way she showed tonight.
100% agree with you on that one. All right, let's move on to Timothy Tatra and Matt Riddle. Basically, to keep it very short for you guys, they come out and they want to prove to the world that they are the best tag team, not only in NXT, but in the entire world. That includes the rest of the WWE. Very, very interesting. As you guys know, they're not really a tag team. The tag team championship is Matt Riddle and Pete Dunne. But because he's stuck overseas, Timothy Thatcher has kind of been his partner, and they kind of go through a series of questions, and then they get attacked by Imperium.
Yeah, Imperium really going after Matt Riddle and Timothy. They really want to get their hands on those NXT tag team titles.
Oh, yes. Do I think this is potentially the team that can take them down? Yes. I think there's a lot of power. There's different dynamic and different talents inside of Imperium, and I think this could potentially be the team that takes down Matt Riddle and Timothy Thatcher, I guess.
The advantage that Imperium has is they've been working together for a very, very long time. This team of Timothy and Matt Riddle is brand new. They only had one match together, and they seem to be on the same page. But keep in mind, it's a new tag team. Matt Riddle doesn't know much about him, and the chemistry needs to keep building up even more. So we'll see. I mean, that's the only disadvantage that I see with Matt Riddle and Timothy.
You know, I think it's an odd pairing, but it works. You know, it's one of those where you look at it and you're like, really, these two are tag teams, but it works. And that chemistry, they're definitely starting to build it. And the more you look at them in the ring, you're like, you know what, this team actually works. All they have to do is get a lot more comfortable with each other. And I think once they do that, it's going to be very, very hard for somebody to take the championships off Riddle and Tatra.
Yeah, once they get more matches under their belt and they start working together even more, I think they're going to be unstoppable and they're going to be the team to beat down in NXT.
100%. All right, let's move on to Mia Yim versus Charlotte Flair. Very, very interesting. You have to give it up to Charlotte Flair. She dominated the majority of this match, literally 97% of this match. She didn't give Mia Yim any opportunity, and if Mia Yim had an opportunity, she would take it, and Charlotte Flair would knock her down as soon as she got that opportunity.
Definitely Charlotte Flair doing what she said she was going to do down in NXT. And what is that? That she was going to go down and humble the NXT brand. And she is doing that exactly. And she did that with Mia Yim. And again, I think the difference is this match was the size of Charlotte Flair. Yeah, she's good. She's athletic. But the size of her makes it hard for any woman the size of Mia Yim to actually get a good grip on her, to get a good hold, right? Because she's so athletic and her size on.
Oh yeah, 100%. But this Charlotte is a different Charlotte than what we see on Raw, than what we've seen on SmackDown. She's a lot more aggressive. She's a lot more determined. She's a lot more focused. And yes, you're right. She did say she's going to go humble NXT. And that's exactly what she's been doing. But you also have to keep in mind, she is Charlotte Flair. She is pretty much the entire package. And if you can stand up and have a caliber match with Charlotte Flair, you're already at the top. You know what I mean? And I think Mia Yim, she really showed what she was able to do, but I think the experience and the ring awareness of Charlotte Flair is really what helped Charlotte throughout this entire match.
I have to agree with you on that. Definitely the experience of Charlotte Flair played a huge factor in this match. And not only that, they had faced each other before, but these were two different competitors back then and different competitors now. And definitely Mia Yim, when she tried to capitalize against Charlotte Flair being what she does best, and that's counter, and it ended up coming out with the win.
Yes, 100%. And Mia Yim, obviously, she's one of the best down in NXT. I strongly do believe that. I just feel like she wasn't fully there. I think she went into the match extremely confident, and she underestimated Charlotte Flair. I think she knew, yes, I'm going to have a fight against Charlotte Flair. Yes, I know what Charlotte Flair is capable of, but I think she went in a little extra confident, and she wasn't expecting what she saw from Charlotte Flair.
I think Mia Yim has the full potential of being a top star down in NXT. I mean, you pretty much had this conversation. She kind of has that style of Lita. She kind of reminds me of her just because of the way she comes out, the way she dresses, and her style in the ring. She is fearless. She is willing to take any risk to get the victory.
Yeah, she is definitely extreme, and she does kind of have something of Lita in her, and you can definitely see that as soon as you see her. I don't think she's kind of realized it herself, but I think once she does, she'll be able to get on the roll. But Charlotte Flair, very, very impressive in this match, and I think the NXT women have to be very, very careful and very strategic and pay close attention to what Charlotte Flair does inside of the ring if you want a chance at potentially beating her for the NXT Championship.
And keep in mind, Charlotte Flair has improved so much. She is now willing to take a match into deep waters and not get frustrated, where before she used to get frustrated throughout the match as the match kept on going and going and going. Now we're seeing a different Charlotte Flair, more focused. She doesn't let that get into her mind like before.
And now that makes her the complete package, because that frustration would cost her matches. That frustration would make her lose control, and that's exactly when she would down rail. Now she can fully control it, and now she is at the advantage.
And she's been doing that ever since she started to face Rhea Ripley. Ever since then, she's been taking the matches even deeper than when she has been in them. So that makes Charlotte extremely dangerous. It's going to be tough for the NXT woman to dethrone Charlotte Flair, but I believe that they could do it.
Yes, I do believe so. I don't have anybody in mind right now off the top of my head that can potentially dethrone Charlotte Flair, but we'll see as the time goes on. I think someone that has a very strong possibility is Io Shirai. She came out after the match and she was like, you know what? Next week you are mine. So the NXT Women's Championship is on the line next week. Charlotte Flair versus Io Shirai. Very interesting.
It's going to be interesting how it all plays out. And it's going to be the first time the NXT Championship is going to be defended by Charlotte Flair down in NXT.
100%. All right, let's move on to Dexter Loomis versus Shane Thorne. Dexter is one of my favorite characters. I just think he's interesting. I think his in-ring style is amazing. He's a completely different character than something you see in the WWE every day. He's just very mysterious, but he's also very, very confident. He's not cocky. He is confident. He knows exactly what he's capable of doing, and that's what he does in every match.
If you notice this match and the previous matches he has had, he is that type that he starts off at a slow pace and out of nowhere he just capitalized and was able to show you the power by doing a spine buster or showing his power that he has.
And I think that's what makes him 100% more dangerous, because you don't know when he's going to strike. He could potentially be down and you could be like, you know what, I have this in the bag, and boom, he'll attack out of nowhere.
And just how he could take the match onto the mat, he could also back it up in the ring like I said, by using his power to his advantage.
And Shane started off very, very impressive. You know, he starts off strong throughout this entire match, and I think he gained that confidence, and then Dexter was able to take him down and was like, no, this is going to be done my way, and I'm definitely going to prove to you why he could potentially be the future of NXT.
Yeah, and Shane Thorne walked in, like you said, extremely motivated. He thought he was going to beat him, but what can you really do with Dexter Loomis when he doesn't show no body language? You know, he doesn't show if he's hurt, you know, and I think that's what Shane wasn't expecting.
Yes, 100% agree with you on that one. I do believe he went in confident, but he didn't know what to expect from him. And at the end of the day, that was his biggest disadvantage. All right, let's move on to Tony Nese versus Drake Maverick. Tony Nese pretty much dominates the majority of this match. He's very confident. The size difference, I think, is really what played an entirely huge role in this entire match.
The size difference was one, and not only that, but Tony Nese also walking in with a huge, confident, cocky attitude, saying, you know what, it's going to be an easy win for me. I'm just going to toy with Drake Maverick.
And also keep in mind, I believe Drake Maverick was his manager at some point. So Tony Nese knows exactly who Drake Maverick is. He knows his strengths. He knows his weaknesses. For God's sakes, Drake Maverick mentored him while they were in the Cruiserweight division. So at this point, he was like, you know what? I know exactly what I have to do to take down Drake Maverick. I know what his weaknesses are, and that's exactly what he focused on.
Yeah, and same thing with Drake Maverick. He knows Tony Nese very well, and he tried to use it to advantage, and he was mainly waiting for an opportunity to capitalize and for Tony Nese to make a mistake. And sure enough, to the surprise of everybody, Drake Maverick ended up being victorious. Huge win for Drake Maverick, so he could go into the Cruiserweight Interim Championship.
Yes, so after that, he comes out and he's like, well, you know what? I'm not going anywhere. I believe in myself, and I think that's the very first thing that you need. If he's going to believe in himself, then I think he can go very, very far. He showed it in this match. Tony Nese dominated the majority of this match, and what does Drake Maverick do? He capitalizes in an instant, took full advantage of it, and he got his win, and he secured his spot.
Looking at it, Drake Maverick is the underdog in this tournament, but I believe that he has a high possibility of winning it after what he showed against Tony Nese. Why? Because he's going to be there to capitalize on his opponent's mistakes.
Sometimes it's all about that in-ring awareness, and it's all about using your brain, and that's exactly what he did. He was like, well, you know what? I see the moment. I'm going to take it, and I'm going to run with it and see what happens. And sure enough, he got that victory.
Yeah, and a huge momentum booster, so he's going to walk in with extremely confident for his next match.
All right, let's move on to Damian Priest versus Keith Lee for the North American Championship. Very, very interesting.
Keith Lee wanted to get his hands on Damian Priest after what he did last week, using after Damian Priest used the baton on Keith Lee's throat.
I think this match, in my opinion, from the get-go was pretty evened out. You know, you can tell that both these men have a lot of power in them, and that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to overpower each other, and I feel like at the end they weren't able to do that. You know, Damian Priest showed an incredible amount of power throughout this entire match, and I think Keith Lee wasn't expecting that from him.
Yeah, and then not only that, but also Damian Priest had a huge advantage going into this match as well. And what was that? That he had played those mind games with Keith Lee, so he kind of made Keith Lee doubt himself a little bit. But at the end of the day, Keith Lee demonstrated why he is the North American Championship and just overpowered Damian Priest.
Yes, I'm very impressed by Keith Lee. I really think this is the company guy for NXT. I really think he carries the majority of the division. Who do I see maybe taking the North American Championship from Keith Lee? I don't know. I would say Dominik Dijakovic maybe would be somebody. But there's so much talent that you could potentially put up against him. And it doesn't matter who you put him up against. He's going to have a fantastic match at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I don't think this is the end of Keith Lee and Damian Priest. I still think they got a lot more to offer. And I think Damian Priest, as these feud keeps going, he may have an advantage of defeating Keith Lee.
I 100% agree with you on that one. All right, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, that's all we have for you today.
On this episode of Wrestling with Siblings, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Become a sibling today. And for those of you that do not know what WWS stands for, I wonder what does WWS stand for?
Wrestling with Siblings. Thank you guys so much, and see you guys next time.